Are you ready to get out of that one person grind? Because you are definitely not alone. This is Scale You, your weekly guide to growing your business like crazy. Every single week, we are bringing in a lot of amazing founders, business owners, coaches, consultants, everywhere else who are going to talk about their experiences about life, business, AI, and everything else in between, and sharing their secrets on how to scale like a boss to further help you future proof your entrepreneur journey. On Scale You, we guide you from being a solopreneur to an unstoppable business owner. So ditch the grind and let's scale you. Now, our guest for today is Jack Harris. He is the founder of Tally Ho Experience, the top rated bike tour company in London on TripAdvisor. Known for his deep love of adventure and commitment to sustainable travel, Jack offers unique, eco-friendly tours that bring the rich history and culture of London to life. Each tour is crafted to convey a sense of joy and wonder, backed by Tally Ho's outstanding commitment to a 5-star customer service from start to finish. The company has been featured in the world's top 50 day tours by the Sydney Morning Herald and has garnered thousands of 5-star reviews from very delighted guests. An advocate for engaging and responsible tourism, Jack continues to inspire locals and tourists alike to explore the beauty and heritage of their environments in memorable and impactful ways. Okay, so we are joined, vested up and looking good with Jack. Hey, Jack.
Great to be with you, Leanne.
Super excited to have you here. Super excited to get to know your story too. So let's just jump right into it. Walk us through the top 3 to 5 highlights of your life that got you to where you are.
Wow. Okay, absolutely. Yeah, so I had a background as an expat kid growing up around Japan and Dubai and New Zealand. So travel has really infused my blood. But as you can probably tell by my accent, I'm British by birth and found myself returning to the UK almost a couple of decades ago now, and fell into a variety of different jobs. For me, I found I couldn't get rid of that travel bug, and I worked a variety of different travel roles and eventually started my own company. My dad was an entrepreneur. He was a massive influence on my life and still is. And so starting a company in the travel space in London was what I did. And it's been a great adventure. One of the other major things in my life that happened relatively recently, 14 months ago, I had a son, Elijah. And at that stage, my wife and I decided, right, we didn't want to be in central London anymore. So we relocated out to Bath in Somerset, which is a beautiful heritage city, World Heritage City. And that then became my next adventure of how to scale my business and make myself remote.
That is fantastic. And I love that you were very much a widely traveled kid, and basically you've essentially kind of given that travel bug to now future parents and kids, which is fantastic, kind of good full circle moment. Tell us more about what it is that you do. I've seen, of course, the pictures and the videos, and I've loved all of them. For those who have no idea, walk us through exactly what it is that you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Jack Harris. I'm the founder of Tally Ho Experiences. Tally Ho is a London-based bicycle and walking tour operator specializing in quintessentially British experiences of the capital. We have a team of hipster historian tour guides who dress a little bit like this with the occasional bit of facial hair. We are the highest independently rated bicycle tour company on TripAdvisor in London, and we've been showcased by the Globe Trekker, Japanese Airlines, Virgin Airways, Sydney Morning Herald, dozens and dozens of different media outlets. We specialize in providing tours to high net worth individuals and corporate groups. And what really differentiates us is that adventurous spirit. I believe that every tour should be an adventure. People come to us to, spend their vacation time, their holiday time, limited spaces to build connections with their family, their friends, their colleagues, and every moment they spend with Tally Ho should be adding to that experience.
Got it. That's amazing. I love how you really painted a picture there as well of the love basically that you have for it. So tell me more about how you got it started then. Like you mentioned that your dad was an entrepreneur and like that kind of inspired you into it. But what was kind of I can do this. Like this is the thing that I want to do.
Absolutely. Madness and desperation.
Usually the best combo.
Frankly, I didn't know what I was doing, and to some extent, still making it up today.
Mm.
What got me into it was I moved to London with my girlfriend. My girlfriend at the time was into acting. She wanted to be in London. I thought, what on earth am I going to do in London? I was an
Mm.
outdoorsy type person. I've been working in adventure pursuits in Wales, in the UK. And at the time, I'd worked a various different number of odd jobs, cafes, bars, pubs, and I saw the infrastructure going into bicycle lanes around London. And this was really sort of 2010 time. So
Mm.
there wasn't that much in terms of safe cycling infrastructure. However, bike tours were starting to become a thing. There were a couple of small operations, and there were loads of people taking bus tours. And one of my favorite pastimes in London with my friends at the time was cycling around the old traditional pubs in the evening after work,
Got
and
it.
just really immersing myself in sort of the traditional British pub culture, which I adore. There's they're the best things about London are the pubs,
Mm.
um, and so I was working in a pub at the time, and I thought, if I just had 10 bicycles and try to get 10 tourists to follow me around town to my favorite pubs, I might be able to make something of that. And so
Mm.
that's what I did. I started with 10 bikes, and I was doing all the tours myself during the day, and then the evening going to work in a bar. And that
Cool.
started to pick up, and I was doing all the tours myself for about a year and a bit. And then I realized that was completely unsustainable because I was exhausted. And then I hired my first guide. And of course, natural progression, but it sort of changes how you structure things.
Got it. Well, speaking of guys, I do have to ask: do all of them have to have the really nice facial hair, or that like requirement? You're looking at their LinkedIn profile, like that guy.
We do weight interviews for the men towards those with wonderful mustaches.
Got it. There's a wait list of like, if
We
roll it
we do
out.
have some, we do have some clean shaven chaps as well, but yeah, it's there's nothing quite like some whiskers. In fact, our general manager James, his beard is absolutely glorious.
Ooh. So it
Yeah,
is.
you'll quite often see him on our social media.
I think I have. I think I've seen him on your guys' website once or twice, and I'm like, it's the full. So
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a requirement then. If anyone is interested in applying, it's like
yeah, he has
roll it
a
out.
device that protects his lip with when he's drinking a pint, just clips it on
Wow.
to keep the mustache out of the way. It is that. So go and check out our Instagram account at Tallyho London. Go and like James's mustache.
There you go. Well, all of your links later on will be added into the description, so people can also nerd out and love what you do. So tell me more than like that's the love, but what were the? I imagine, of course, because I've known you, I've gotten to know you a little bit. What were kind of the obstacles and challenges, kind of building up to it? You've started out literally on your own, just with bicycles, taking people to strange places they've never been to,
Yeah,
completely trusting their life with you. How did
yeah,
that start from there to where you're at now?
yeah. So, I mean, the UK obviously has got a reputation for rain, and this
Mm.
is, of course, one of the major challenges we deal on a regular basis. But our tours are designed around a format whereby we give people ponchos and we try and keep the energy up and tweak the experience to make sure that everyone's having fun and happy. I've never advertised either directly.
Mm.
It's all been inbound and word of
Wow.
mouth and online reviews. And to some extent, that has really fostered a culture within Tallyho of excellence. We cannot afford to make a mistake in that regard. Of course, we do occasionally make mistakes, and then we have systems in place for addressing that promptly and efficiently.
Mm.
But really, from day one, it's all been about TripAdvisor reviews, now Google reviews, all over the place,
Mm.
and that is the primary way that we generate most of our independent traveler business. We now have a massive network of travel agents,
Mm.
DMCs who we work with, who, because of our time in the market and our reputation for delivering excellent experiences, now trust us with their clients. And so that's been a constant kind of cycle of effort and endeavor and challenge, in the sense of making sure that when we're training new guides, that they're really meeting those expectations we have of them,
Mm.
and giving them the tools to ensure that if something doesn't feel quite right, we know how to address it promptly so that there is a more constructive outcome.
Got it. So it sounds like a lot of the and I love that, seeing that connection too. Like anytime there's a mistake, there's a system for it. If the system made a mistake, that means the system needs to be updated. And I love that back and forth that I can see just by how you're telling me how intricate it is, and how kind of careful, and you guys have basically built up this brand of, you do want to provide the best service for people, you want to take care of them the best way. I know a little bit just behind the scenes of like how well you guys want to train up your guides and make sure that they have everything they need to keep showing up consistently, whether they get guide A or guide B, it's the same level of service, either way. And I can imagine that you guys have a lot of repeat customers then whenever it's summertime, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of domestic visitors as well. One of the things I was keen to do was really build products that appeal to a domestic market. And so we get, particularly sort of just as the pandemic was easing, we were getting a lot of staycationers coming up to London. Our gin safari, which we've been running for years, exploded in popularity. And yeah, so we get a lot of repeat customers from sort of domestic markets. From the international markets, the independent travelers, it is a bit more word of mouth. If you've enjoyed it, please tell your friends. Here's a sort of referral code, that kind of thing.
That's super cool. And for those then who are like, for me, like if I ever get lucky enough to be able to get a visa, get to the UK, you are literally on top of my list to like try out.
Absolutely.
To do.
I will have you on top of a penny farthing.
Hopefully you'll have something that's for short people, because I'm only 4'11", so that'll be a funny thing if I'm on a very tall bike. For adventures then, on those rainy days, on like kind of I know a little bit for like December, January times, what are the options for people then to do? And you mentioned the safari, you mentioned other programs that you guys are now have been rolling out basically. So what are the options for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually one of the biggest sort of growth areas for Tally Ho at the moment, because prior to making myself remote, I would work 8 months of the year, then take 4 months off and go traveling. And we would sort of shut down the company for the most part for that period. And that has worked very well as a business model for 13 years. Now, being remote, having a small child, and having a larger team that obviously need to be financially compensated throughout the winter, we are moving into more walking tours, pub tours, foot-based experiences with beautiful British umbrellas to offset the fact that, frankly, in the winter months, sort of January, February, riding a bicycle around London isn't always the best option. It can be absolutely wonderful on crisp winter's days where the sun's out and there's a sprinkling of snow on the fields, but so diversifying our product portfolio within London and also across the UK, working with a few we've got some exciting partnerships coming along there as well.
Got it. So then, with everything else that you've kind of mapped out for us, like you've painted, like I said, you keep painting a really good picture of like, every time you say the snow falling the ground, it's this crisp day, I can imagine a lot of it. So you really are very much a storyteller from at the core, basically. What's the value you're trying to create in the world? What's kind of like your, I like asking in a lot of different ways, but essentially, if you had to build an army of jacks, let's say there were like 2 jacks, 3, 10, 12, 20, 100 maybe, what would the world, how would you like to shape the world, basically, if you had that power to kind of shape it as you see the world and how you see it right now? What would the world look like?
Yeah, so I guess in my own way, I'm trying to add more joy and connection to the world. And the way I do that is through our adventures, our Tally Ho adventures. But it's about really giving people a chance to slow down, to connect with one another, connect with a stranger, a guide, and connect with an environment in a kind of a novel way, which is where the classic British bicycles come in. And so for me, it is very much about bringing more joy to the world. Holidays, vacations are sacred. We want to honor that and leave people feeling that they've really kind of had this lovely, and love is what it's all about, right? Lovely experience.
Got it. I love that. And like for me, like for when I was younger, we would travel, but it was all just domestic. It was flying to somewhere else, driving, and you describing it that way, that it is sacred. Like these are going to be, when their parents are bringing kids over, kids are going to remember that forever, and then bring their next generation of kids and the next generation of kids. So I can see how essentially the value you're creating is kind of also multi-generational, and that's amazing to hear about. So then stripping it down, and I love the joke from Avengers where, like, take off the suit and everything else. What makes you you? So for you, Jack, what's your kind of the superpower that you're bringing into it? Like, what makes Jack Jack?
I think I've got a bit of a cheeky spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like rules, and I just like going for it. This is, I mean, this is frankly how the company got off the ground. It was, as I said, I wasn't totally joking when I said madness and desperation. It was at the time a little bit mad to go down this route, but now we're seeing, massive budgets for corporate travel that focus around sustainability. The infrastructure in London is now safe enough where the private family tour market is one of our core client bases, and I try and retain this kind of like cheeky fun spirit. This is all about having fun, and we have a very stylized way of presenting that, which for the most part people love or they hate. We're very Marmite. I'm happy to be Marmite. And yeah, so I mean, what makes me me? I think there's that sense of adventure is part of my spirit. I have a deep love of nature and the natural environment, and I have a background in meditation, a personal interest in meditation as well. And so obviously a key part of that is sort of grounding and actually being present in the moment. And one of the wonderful things about travel, about actually physically planting yourself in a new location, is that it sort of shocks the brain out of its sort of zombie mode, and you are really much more present in your surroundings because everything's novel and stimulating. And so layering on top of that these social connections with your family, with the guides, with the bicycle, with the culture, is something I consciously try to build on when we're developing our experiences.
That's amazing. So you're basically bringing a little bit of the Jack spirit and everything else that they do, to make sure that it's basically is multiplied. I love that. So as for wrapping up, Jack, what is currently something that you guys are working on? What are you so excited about in the next 30, 90 days? And how can people find out more about you and like James's picture?
Absolutely. So we are really now in the swing of summer. Our gin safari is running every weekend. We've got other tours and trips that are running multiple times a day. We are at Tally Ho London on all social channels. Please do give us a like and a follow. The website tallyho, TALLYHO.cc, will list all of our current tours. We've got some interesting and fun experiences in the pipeline. We're working with an awesome local bakery to develop some afternoon tea tour packages where we'll be picking up some scrummy scones and clotted cream and strawberry jam with your choice of soft drink or champagne for those of you who want to try an English sparkling wine. Sorry, I shouldn't have said champagne, it's English sparkling wine. Riding off to the park and enjoying it there. So we've got a whole load of summer-oriented experiences coming through the pipeline.
That sounds so cool, and I will definitely really, really try to get a visa sometime soon so I can experience all of that. I got my very first scone last year in Thailand, of all places, because like here in the Philippines is not too popular, and it was really good. So I can imagine what it is to actually be in UK and have a scone. That
You
sounds
need
amazing.
to come and have a proper British scone, absolutely.
For sure. Well, thank you so much, Jack, for your time today, for
My
letting us
pleasure.
get to know you and getting to know Tally Ho. And yeah, this was amazing.
Great to speak with you. Have a great day.
I hope you guys enjoy the storytelling voice of Jack. I definitely enjoyed it very, very much. Kind of as someone who loves traveling as well, just kind of getting a little bit of that travel bug all over again. Now, as I said, all of the links for Jack to check out Tally Ho and Jack himself are going to be in the description below. And of course, if you guys like this video, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. If you're watching anywhere else, still try to like, interact, engage with us. We love hearing from you guys. Comment below your favorite quotes or negative wisdom from Jack. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button for your weekly dose of the Scale You podcast. Now, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Remember that small steps matters. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.